Welcome to this video on using Chirp to program your HT. We're going to be doing that live, as it were. On this welcome screen, I show the website, and I'll put a link up here in a minute to it, although you can read it right up here, chirp.danplanet.com, and you can download it for Linux, Apple, or Windows. It's a simple download. I think it's about 10 megabytes. It comes down, at least on the Windows platform, as a .exe self-extracting file. I recommend that you save it to the desktop or to your downloads folder, someplace where you can find it easily. Once it's downloaded, simply double-click it. That starts the installation process. Follow the prompts, and you'll be installed. The Chirp icon will be on your screen once it's installed, and it looks like this DB9 socket up here. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're doing. Well, first of all, why would we want to use Chirp? You can program your HT from the front panel. You should go through that at least once so you're somewhat familiar with it. But be aware it takes about 8 steps or more depending on your handy-talkie. And navigating through the menus on a handy-talkie, I think, is a bit problematic. I find it much easier to do with using something like Chirp. Chirp is free. It's well supported. It has a huge database of HTs in it, as well as other scanners. You can program mobile radios with it. It's really quite a program, and it's being added to constantly, expanding the database of equipment that it supports. All right, so what are you going to need? You're going to need your handy-talkie, of course, an appropriate programming cable, which I'll speak to here in a moment. Here is the website location, and then you should have ahead of time the frequencies, including offsets, PL tones, and so forth, to be programmed. You can also program weather channels, anything that's within the frequency specified for your particular HT. Okay, let's talk about the programming cable. They are very specific to the brand and the make and model of your HT. I'm using a Baofeng for this demonstration, but it could be any radio. And the important part is to make sure that it's a genuine FTDI chip cable. The chip is located generally right here in the USB computer side of the plug, and its primary function is to change digital stuff coming out of the USB port into audio, because it is audio signals that are used to go into the radio and then be changed into what the radio uses for programming back into digital mode. The fakes don't work well. They generally have some little driver CD that you got to put in, and it's loading some antiquated driver that may or may not even work. I've had them just not work at all, and you can spend hours and lots of frustration. This cable, I think it cost me $23 from Amazon, including the shipping. There may be cheaper ones out there, but make sure that it is a genuine FTDI. Okay, in general, these are the programming steps that we're going to use. Start the Chirp program. Make sure your HT is turned off. Don't plug the programming cable into your HT with the power turned on. I recommend that you start the Chirp program first. Connect the programming cable to the computer first, and then with the radio off, plug it into the radio. And on the Baofeng, let me go back here to the picture of the cable. This plastic lip, well, it's not a lip, the edge around this plug has to fit down into a well, sort of, on the side of the HT. And sometimes the fit is not real great, so you want to make sure that it's seated firmly, or you're going to have problems. Okay. So let's take a look at Chirp itself. this is Chirp running, and as you can see, on first run, there's nothing loaded in it. The typical menu of things that you can do up here. Once you have saved an image file, you can reload it and send that to other radios. You can also copy from one radio to another using Chirp. I've used Chirp for several different kinds of radios. All right. I've already connected up my handy talkie. I have turned it on. I did a factory reset on it, so I'm simulating a new radio out of the box, and I want to set it up with some frequencies. Now I've made a short list of frequencies that I'm going to put in, and that can be done, for example, on the Tonto Radio Amateur site. You can click on Tara repeaters, and it shows you the settings, and these are the two that I'm going to program in. Okay, so with that said, let's go back to Chirp here. The first thing that I want to do is I want to download from the radio itself what's in it. This creates an image here in the Chirp program that is a clone of what's in the radio. So I'll go to radio, download from the radio. I've already programmed in the COM port. There's a list here. You also want to program in whatever vendor you have and the model number that you have. This happens to be mine. And then I'll click OK. And this gives you a reminder, and you can turn this off if you want, to make sure your radio's off. Connect the cable. Okay, we've already done all of that. And so now it's downloading from the memory. If you should get an error message pop up right away, it means that the COM port that you have selected is not the correct one. So go back to that where you can select the COM port and pick a different one from the list. Okay, so once it's finished copying what's in the radio down into Chirp, you'll notice that it's spreadsheet-like with rows and columns, and we're going to input our data here. I'm going to get rid of the factory has set location 0 with a value, so I highlight it with a click of the mouse, press the delete key on the keyboard, and it's gone. You can also do that for a whole block. And then the last channel, I have 28 channels in here, 0 through 27, and so we have a clean slate. I'm going to start in location 2. And if I go down, right clicking and go to properties, I get this nice little window. You can enter it in directly. I find this easier to do, or more intuitive. So let's put in the frequency. The first frequency is for the VHF, so that's 147.390. Let's call this VHF Terra. Tone mode, I want tone. The tone that I want is 100. Tone squelch, I can leave that alone. I can leave all the rest of this alone. The offset under duplex is the offset. I was positive, and it is 600 kilohertz or 0.6 megahertz. And I can set the transmit power. I'll set it to high. And this skip, as if these Baofengs, especially the later models, have a pretty nice scanner in them. And I program in the weather channel as well, the NOAA weather station for the local area. And of course that's on all the time. So if I had that in my scanning range, then that's where it would hang up. So I could pull this down and select S for skip. Okay, so once that's done, it's programmed that in for me. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Right click and go to properties. And this is going to be the UHF, which is 448.775. and this is the UHF Terra, and it is a tone mode. The tone is 77, and we can leave the rest of this. Is offset is a 5 megahertz, and the duplex is a negative. Offset is negative 5 megahertz, and again we'll set this to high. Now, one advantage of doing it on the line is that Chirp seems to know the offset for VHF is typically 600 kilohertz, and it will program that ahead of, didn't have to do that. And that little pop-up window, I have to do it explicitly. And that's really that's all that you really need to set. I'm going to do down here on channel 9 for no particular reason, and program in I'm going to program in the local NOAA weather station 162.425, and that's really all I need to put in there. I might also want to put in a couple of simplex channels. If you want to use the scanner part of this, PACE no longer uses VHF open frequencies. Are using a trunking system. However, the fire department is not. And there's other areas you might want to plug in or program in the mount ORD. But for the sake of video length here, these are the only two I'm going to do. And so the next thing I want to do, now that I have my channels programmed the way I want to go up here to File and do a Save As, and save it as basic or something like that. It will automatically put the model number, make a model number, and then whatever the date is, and save that. So that's now safely on the drive. The next thing to do is to get it up to the radio. So let's go up here to radio and upload to the radio. You should get the same thing that you had when you downloaded it, and click OK, and make sure that your cable's plugged in, turned on, and it is uploading. You'll get some blinking lights on your cable, if your cable has those. Mine does. Shows that the communications are taking place. The receive light on your radio, depending on your radio model, may also be blinking as it is loading stuff up. And once it's programmed, the radio should automatically do a reset, and then you're pretty much ready to go. So again, let me put those general programming steps up here in case you want to jot those down or do a screen copy or something. This is kind of the basic order. The key thing is to make sure that you have a genuine FTDI cable and plug in the radio with the radio off. Plug in the programming cable. Make sure it's well seated, and that's really about it. So I'll say 73 and see you on the air.